Welcome to our 9/11 Day of Service and Remembrance. Thank you, visitors, for coming. As the 13th anniversary of September 11th approaches, our thoughts are once again with all those who lost loved ones on that tragic morning. We remember the names, faces, and lives of the men, women, and children who were killed and look for ways to ensure that each and every one of them is not forgotten. As we commemorate here at Lincoln Charter School for the first time, we invite you to join us in remembering September 11th, 2001, and all that this day means. There are numerous ways to participate in the annual commemoration, and one of the most powerful is performing acts of service in your communities in remembrance of the victims of 9/11. When you choose to commemorate the anniversary of 9/11, you are playing an important role in memorializing those who were killed, honoring the sacrifices of the first responders, and remembering the spirit of unity that emerged in the aftermath of 9/11. However you choose to commemorate this anniversary, thank you for joining us as we take a day to remember and honor.
2,977 people died on this day 13 years ago in an aggressive attack against America by terrorists. Earlier this week, students were asked to write an act of service on a white strip. These white strips represent the people who died on September 11, 2001. I encourage you to perform an act of service in remembrance of these victims. John Wesley once said, "Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as you ever can. Show the spirit of these victims through your service." Thank you.
That Day by Billy Nardoza. It is a day in history we will never forget, and a day that we will cry for, and that you can bet. It is a day that we lost thousands of lives, our family and friends, husbands and wives. And it is a day we will honor those who dared to go into those towers because they cared. It is a day we will fight to the very end to make sure that it never happens again. It is a day that we pray for the loved ones who perished, who we so dearly loved and always have cherished. It is a day we request, if it's not too much, that spot at Ground Zero will never be touched.
We're now going to honor America by saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Can you please stand, salute, pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the singing of our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? For the land of the free and the home of the brave.
So this morning we received a firefighter helmet from one of our students here at Lincoln Charter School. It was given to her by her uncle, which serves in the firefighter department in Charlotte. This helmet was used during the 9/11 attacks, and we look at this helmet to think about, like, it wasn't just the lost lives that were during those attacks, but it's for the people that took their time and effort to serve during that time, and the amount, of heart and courage that they did to do that. At this time, we would like to take a moment of silence for those who lost their lives on September 11, 2001. Thank you. Can I please have a moment of silence so we can start and actually take in what this poem has to say? So this poem is called A Little Girl's Poem. Her hair was up in a ponytail, her favorite dress tied with a bow. Today was Daddy's day at school, and she couldn't wait to go home. But her mommy tried to tell her that she probably should stay home, why the kids might not understand if she went to school alone. But she wasn't not afraid. She knew just what to say, what to tell her classmates of why he wasn't there today. But still her mother worried for her face this day alone. And that was why once she tried to keep her daughter home. But the little girl went to school, eager to tell them all about a dad she never sees, a dad who never calls. There were daddies along the wall and back for everyone to meet, children squirming impatiently, anxious in their seats. One by one, the teacher called a student from the class to introduce their daddy as seconds slowly passed. At last, the teacher called her name. Every child turned to stare. Each of them was searching for a man who was not there. "Where's her daddy at?" she heard a boy call out. "She probably doesn't have one," another student dared to shout. And from somewhere near the back, she heard a daddy say, "Looks like another deadbeat dad, too busy to waste his day." The words did not offend her as she smiled up at her mom and looked back at her teacher who told her to go on. And with hands behind her back, she slowly began to speak. And out from the mouth of a child came the words incredibly unique. "My daddy couldn't be here because he lives so far, but I know he wishes he could be, since this is such a special day. And though you cannot meet him, I wanted you to know all about my daddy and how much he loves me so. He loved to tell me stories, he taught me how to ride a bike, he surprised me with pink roses and taught me how to fly a kite. We used to share fudge sundaes and ice cream in a cone, and though you cannot see him, I'm not standing here alone, because my daddy's always with me. Even though we are apart, I know because he told me he'll be forever in my heart." With that, her little hand reached across her chest, feeling her own heartbeat beneath her favorite dress. And from somewhere in the crowd of dads, her mother stood in tears, proudly watching her daughter, who was wise beyond her years. For she stood up for the love of a man not in her life, doing what was best for her, doing what was right. And when she dropped her hand back down, staring straight into the crowd, she finished with a voice so soft, but it's a message clear and loud. "I love my daddy very much. He is my shining star. And if he could be here, he'd be here. But heaven's just too far. You see, he was a fireman and died just this past year, when airplanes hit the towers and taught Americans to fear. But sometimes when I close my eyes, it's like he never went away. And then she closed her eyes and saw him there that day. And to her mother's amazement, she witnessed with surprise a room full of daddies and children, all starting to close their eyes. Who knows what they saw before them? Who knows what they felt inside? Perhaps for merely a second, they saw him at her side. I know you're with me, Daddy. To the silence she called out. And what happened next made believers of those who once filled with doubt. Not one in that room could explain it, for each of their eyes had been closed. But there on that desk beside her was a fragrant, long-stemmed pink rose. And a child was blessed, if only for a moment, by the love of her shining bright star, and given that gift of believing that heaven is never too far.
And now the choir and the Bluegrass Club would like to play a song for you called One Nation. This song is about unity, saying that no matter where we come from, what tragedies we might have endured, we're all one nation and we're all here for each other. Maybe we're not the same color. Maybe we're not the same race. Maybe we don't have the same beliefs or live in the same kind of place. Maybe we think we're too different. Maybe that's simply not true. And dreams, and maybe I'll share them with you, share with you. Oh, we are one nation, yes, we are one man. Together in freedom united we stand. Oh, we are one nation, yes, we are one land. Together in freedom united we stand. Oh, we are a rainbow of people. We have our own history. We share a nation with common bonds, a nation where people agree. We know that freedom is precious. We know the cost is extreme. We share commitment and gratitude. We share our American dream. Share our dream. Oh, we are one nation. Yes, we are one man. Together in freedom united we stand. Oh, we are one nation. Yes, we are one man. Together in freedom united we stand. Oh, we are one nation, yes, we are one man. Together in freedom united we stand. Oh, we are one nation, yes, we are one man. Together in freedom united we stand. Oh, we are one nation. We are one nation. We are one nation. One nation.
So, we would like to thank you all for joining us today in remembrance of the lives that were lost 13 years ago. Lincoln Charter School is proud to share this moment with you who are all able to attend our first 9/11 Day of Service and Remembrance. I want to thank you all, and God bless.